Hello, and welcome to this almost 20-minute long recap. Before I begin, I just want to say a couple of things. Firstly, I try to include as much as possible without getting stuck in details in this video. And what that basically means is that this recap should contain every major event between the last recap and today. However, there are details that I've left out, theories on what some things mean, and other elements that you just won't get by only watching this video. Instead, if you are confused or want to know more, please go to the Discord, which can be found in my link tree and maybe down in the description if I remember to put it there, and head to the recap channel. There, one of my wonderful moderators, Meg, has put every single step of this whole thing into a much more comprehensible recap. It's probably faster to read there than to listen to me babble, and it saves me a whole bunch of time. Secondly, this is unfortunately probably the last recap like this that I'm doing. We have come to a point now where everything is so complicated and where it just takes up so much time to write, record, and edit these recaps. So as of right now, I need to spend more time figuring out what this whole thing is about and less time doing this. Even if I think it's fun, it's just a lot. So if you're seeing this video sometime in the future and you're here looking for a recap on what's going on and this has fallen out of date, which I mean it'll do in a couple of days, but maybe a lot more than that, please check out the recap channel on Discord and don't be afraid to ask away in any of the channels there. If you are confused about anything, everyone is super nice and cool and they will help you out, explain. They love sharing and discussing different theories, and it's just overall a great time. That's a guarantee. So with that out of the way, I guess sit back, grab your favorite beverage, because this will be pretty intense. Here we go. So after the last recap I did, I held a live on YouTube where we watched tape 4, which led me to tape 5, and at the end of that whole stream, I got attacked. And before I keep going, I know I just started, but before I keep going, let me just remind you of the key players that we're working with at this point. There's Age, which is me, hello. There's X, which is the thing doing all of this, leaving these puzzles and clues and everything. And there is also the person who's been communicating with us and kind of helping us through X's channels, and they can be identified as not X by the fact that they use a lot of white instead of a lot of black, and they speak like this instead of like this, because this is the way X kind of talks. We have called this person, entity, whatever it is, by a few different names at this point, but I personally have settled for IO. So that's what I'm gonna go with. So moving along. I got a message on my answering machine from someone who called themselves Jay. He wanted me to reach out back to him. Around the same time, I decided to throw out all of these old cursed items I have here, the safe, the tapes, everything. And so I did. However, I also found a flash drive that I hadn't seen before in a pocket that I should have found it if it hadn't been there for a long time. So that must have been placed there at some point. On the flash drive was this HTML file which contained like a bunch of texts describing the different tapes, and you can click around. To be clear, it was only tape 1 to 5 that had these like poems, and then 7 to 10 just said null, and the number 6 was this little poem that read, "I just adjusted your pills and buckets, crooked your home." During the tape 4 and 5 live, this painting kind of moved at one point, and when someone remembered that, that's when we realized pills and buckets. So I took it down, and behind it I found 2 things. One, a new record with a song called Fool Number 1, which, by the way, real funny, and this paper. User Dave in the Discord managed to piece this together into this, which is my bedside table, also marked on the old floor plan. I took it out and I realized that there is a drawer without a knob on this. I got it open and I found this paper inside with the same images, but now in this series. Someone realized that the shape of the shapes in this first picture looks like numbers on a phone. So if each of these pictures represent a number like so, that will then take the series here and that will be translated into a nihilist cipher that reads White Sklar Black Hook. Took us a while, but eventually someone figured out that those are the surnames of famous bass players. And since this whole little treasure hunt as of recently had been going on inside of my apartment, I just kind of figured that probably my bass, right? Yeah, there was a cassette tape on the inside of my bass. The tape, when played, contained stuttering voices saying "stop wasting my time" and also some spooky sounds, surprise, surprise, which when viewed in a spectrogram read "stop resisting, you are not in charge, you will be replaced, and you're too late for him." Then I get a phone call from Jay. He says that he has something that might be relevant to me. He will dig it out and he will get back to me again, so back to waiting for Jay. Again, user Dave from the Discord figures out that if you count the stutters in the tape where it says "stop wasting my time" and you use that as a tab cipher, it spells out side B. I had already listened to side B and it was just empty, but I guess I hadn't listened to all of it because a tape is like an hour long, so I did, and of course in the middle of the tape there's this sound. This sound turns out to be something called SSTV, and when scanned it shows this image, which we had no idea what to do with. After a while, Peel No Elephant on TikTok posts a video of this image of a hand and a text saying that we are complicating things. Mr. Cryptic in the Discord pointed out that itch.io is a gaming website, and going to this text down here from the image, .itch.io, led us to lilies.exe. Lilies.exe is a platforming game where you have to jump again, jump yet again, grab a tape, throw tape at a button, do a scarier jump again, jump one more time, and finally jump to this tape, all within a very short time span, and the objective of the game is to not go absolutely insane. Some absolute heroes and legends in the Discord, included but not limited to Joe and Skelly, spent literal days, like more hours than I've spent doing anything in my life, playing this infuriating game. Getting to the end before the timer runs out gives you one of these screens. At seemingly random, but we don't know what to do with them. At this point, Jay gets back to me. He sends me an email with a handful of scanned diary pages written in 1991 by his dad, who has been missing since around that time apparently. Half of the last page was also ripped out. I get back to Jay via email and we set up a meeting, and I live stream said meeting to YouTube. As the cameras turn on, Jane turns out to be the man in the picture that we received from the tape. I ask some questions and we learn more about Jay's father, who in the 90s found a cryptic note outside of his house which led him on a scavenger hunt for an old novel, which led to a promise of 9 more novels. Sound familiar at all? Yeah. Okay. Then IO posts a video to Peel No Elephant. This time it's a code that leads us to a form to fill out. The form is littered with references and things, and I'd say at this point there are 3 things that are assumed by the Discord community. 1, the person behind this form is IO. 2, everything thus far points to IO wanting to help us against X. And 3, IO might be Jay's missing dad. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going chronologically here. We figured out that the codes that we got from the Lilies game at the end, for example this one, T4R6L7/8, could be translated to tape 4, row 6, letters 7 and 8. So going back to this text document that we really haven't done anything with yet, and going to that tape, that row, and those letters, we could spell out some short 2-letter words such as fi or fi, on and si or si, yeah, words like that. And back to the form, in one of the last steps in the form there's an image that, when heavily tweaked, you could vaguely see the order of the symbols. So knowing that order and having this fi, on, si and everything, and people figure out that fi was 5, on was 1, si was 6, etc. And there was some fuckiness going on here that I'm not gonna go into here, but it was, yeah, with some help from a community member named Keith, and with a lot of work by a bunch of other people, the password was eventually figured out to be Joida PFR, I guess is how you would pronounce it. And this got us to the last page of the form, which had this image of a man. He was soon identified as, and sorry French people, Villenard, and it also had the text that said the blank of a man. And putting Joida PFR through a Villenard cipher with the key duality, as in the duality of man, it gave us the phrase guess who. When entering guess who into the last field and sending in the form, emails started being just sent out rapidly from IO, saying things like, he is still weak, help him find me, the tower, etc. We also got the missing half page that was ripped out of the diary, and that contained this sketch. Do not ask me how. If I understand correctly, people just googled like the word tower until they found it, but they managed to localize this tower. Here things happened pretty quickly. So first of all, I lost my cool a little bit. I had been so frustrated over this whole thing, being stuck, all these puzzles. So basically, you could say I was getting obsessed to a point that, definitely wasn't super healthy. And IO kept telling me to hurry, that I was in a hurry, that X was weak, and if I just got there as fast as I could, he would help me, I don't know, get the rest of the tapes, end X, like a bunch of promises. And yeah, I did that, and I did that without really thinking, to be fully honest, and I was, So I get all my shit and I rush out of my apartment. I post these videos like explaining that I'm going there, and looking at those videos, looking back at them, it's obvious that I am not in the best place mentally. I'm manic, but either way, I leave for the tower. Now, while I'm gone, P&E posts a video to TikTok again. This video begins with IO saying that he hasn't spoken for weeks. So here everyone pretty much realizes that I've fallen straight into a trap, except me, of course, being out looking for this tower, having pretty bad reception, and getting closer to the tower. So after IO has said that he hasn't spoken for a while, X takes over and he lets everybody know that it's quiz time. X's first question was, what year was this tower inaugurated? Roar answers May 31, 2021. Correct, says X. So second question, what year was the diary written? Betty answers 1991. Correct, says X yet again. So third question, since you know when the tower was built and you know when the diary is written, why did you lead him here? Indicating that either the half page of the diary we received or maybe the entire diary was falsified and couldn't have been written in the 90s, seeing how the tower was inaugurated in this year. Something I probably would have realized myself if I had not let my excitement get the best of me. Then X asks if they want to see me, and following this a handful of videos start getting posted to my TikTok channel, not by me by the way. And looking at the time that these were posted, I would say that they came out like almost instantly, like while I was filming them, as if almost like transmitted straight from my phone, and they're like riddled with these glitches, and I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. At the tower, I find the safe that I threw out weeks ago. The code doesn't work and I decide to throw it again, this time not in the garbage but just off the ledge of this balcony, and I do that, and on the ground lands a tape. I walk up to the tape and it says 10. And yeah, this next part is a bit messy to describe, so I don't know if I even can, but yeah, just say that among other things, I run into some very handsome fella that reminds me a lot of someone I know, but definitely wasn't him. And after whatever that was is over, I am back at the tower. It's now night and it's dark outside. I sit there and I'm holding tape 6 in my hand. And this is where it goes dark for me. On the video, obviously I've seen that now, we can see that what I assume is X suddenly approaches me and then I'm just gone. Now to be clear here, I don't remember anything after this, up until around 1 to 2 days ago, but we'll get to that. While I'm gone, X asks for people to duet him, asking for me back, and they do. Lovely, nice, kind people. Silence, however, drives people kinda crazy. They managed to find Jay's Discord by just guessing the last 4 numbers of his Discord ID and going through all of them, and they reach out to him. He only replies with sending back a link to a song. Very suspicious. Song is on some old record, and I don't know, reminds me a lot of someone else I know. And after a few days, weeks, something like that, this alleged Jay sends a code to Skelly in the Discord, and that translates into, "Tell me, do you feel kinship with the ravening wolves?" which means absolutely nothing to anyone. But then he completely loses his cool and starts shooting out messages in all directions, saying none of you need them, and no one has any idea what this means either. Then Discord user Anonymous finds an account that has been commenting on P&E TikToks and 10 Tapes TikToks called Sulphur Lake Committee. Henceforth, I will refer to them as SLC. SLC has a video up on their page with a lot of weird quotes on it, and they let everyone know in the comments that they are assessing the situation about me and that the person behind Jay's account is not Jay. Soon, people also find out that SLC has a Twitter page, and this page gives a lot more insight into this organization, but it also raises a whole bunch of new questions. People obviously start asking these questions, basically all at the same time, which makes sense, but yeah, SLC basically gets spooked by the onslaught of messages they're getting and they retract. The Discord then decides to organize themselves a little bit and form the so-called H Communication Team, henceforth referred to as the HCT. They will take community's questions and thoughts and condense them into tweets to send to the SLC as like an official account to communicate back and forth with them. Now, X posts a video to P&E with all of his favorite duets, I guess, and at the end of the message it says, "Let's talk." Soon after this, X joins the Discord and holds a long-ass speech in a voice channel in what sounds like my voice, but mixed in with like other voices. Absolutely terrifying. But SLC starts tweeting about a miracle that they feel are about to take place. And that's when the video gets posted to the 10 Tapes TikTok of my apartment. I did not shoot, edit, or post this video, and it ends with me and X appearing, X disappearing again, and me collapsing onto the floor. And so, from my perspective here, the last thing I remember is being at the tower, running into myself, being back at the fucking color tower, all of that, and then it's just dark. And then I wake up in my apartment, thinking like, shit, I must have been out all night, going into the Discord, and it had been a bit more than one night. And yeah, this is where we are now. I'm slowly but surely regaining some energy and getting back to, well, existing, I guess. Time is still a little fucky for me, but it's getting better. I have tape 6 right here, and we will be watching that soon. But like I said at the beginning, this is probably the last time I will be doing one of these recaps. At least that's the way it's looking right now. But further info and friendly faces can be found over in the Discord. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for helping me trying to solve this whole thing. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. But until next time, that was all I had for now. Thank you.